She doesn't have claws. She doesn't dive from the sky. She walks slowly, almost casually right up to a python, and then she stomps it to death with her bare feet. The dry season turns the African savanna into something that feels almost hostile. The soil cracks open in long, jagged lines. Water holes shrink to puddles, and across this scorched golden landscape, a secretary bird moves on long stilt legs, covering ground the way she always does, one measured, deliberate step at a time. She's thirsty, and she's found water. A shallow pool, shallow enough that the mud shows through. It would be perfect, except that every inch of the shoreline has already been taken. A flock of flamingos crowds the banks, pink and chaotic, and extraordinarily loud. They argue with each other, splash at nothing, and fill the air with the kind of noise that makes patience feel physically painful. She stands at the edge and watches them. She tries at first to simply share the space. She lowers her head toward the water. A flamingo knocks into her. Another screams past her ear. The squabbling doesn't pause, doesn't ease, doesn't notice her at all. And she, this precise, focused, solitary hunter who needs stillness, the way most creatures need oxygen, reaches a very clear conclusion. This is not going to work. She charges, no warning, wings spread wide, feet hammering the bank, the full force of her intention unleashed in one sudden rush. The flamingos explode in every direction, a shrieking, spinning, mud-spraying riot of feathers. Within seconds, the pool is empty of everything except her. She drinks slowly, alone, in perfect silence. That silence, she earned it. Hydrated, she turns toward the tall grass and walks into it, with the calm of someone who knows exactly what they are looking for. The secretary bird is one of the most unusual hunters on this continent. She doesn't hunt from the air. She walks up to 30 kilometers some days, scanning the ground, with eyes sharp enough to track a moving insect from meters away. She is tall enough to see over the grass, patient enough to wait out almost anything. And when she finds prey, she uses a weapon that no other bird on Earth has developed quite like she has: her feet. The power behind a single stomp has been measured at roughly 5 times her own body weight, delivered in under 1/10 of a second. To understand what that means, imagine something hitting you with that speed and that force, repeatedly, directly to the skull. There is no recovering from it. Right now, hidden in the grass just ahead of her, something is about to find that out. She slows. Her head tilts forward. Every movement becomes deliberate, the way a surgeon's hands become deliberate before the first incision. A young rock python lies coiled in the dirt, still as shadow, nearly invisible. It's waiting in ambush, a strategy that has served its kind for millions of years. It does not account for her. She closes the distance inch by inch. The python strikes first, a blur of muscle and scale, lunging for her legs. She reads it before it lands and kicks it cleanly away. The snake hits the ground. She's already moving. What follows is methodical, relentless. She stamps on the python's head, once, twice, over and over, shifting her balance each time it thrashes, never letting it find her legs long enough to coil. The snake's scaly, stilt-like legs offer it nothing to grip. She keeps moving. She keeps striking. Each blow lands exactly where she intends it to. The thrashing slows, then stops. She stands over the python in the dust and the heat, breathing, still. She picks it up. This meal isn't just for her. High above the savanna floor, 2 small shapes are waiting in a nest of sticks, wedged into the crown of an acacia tree. Her chicks, young enough that their feathers still look like borrowed clothing, unable to fly, completely exposed to whatever the world decides to send their way. Right now, the world is sending something terrible. If this is your kind of story, subscribe to Fauna right now. Every week, we bring you moments like this, told the way they actually deserve to be told. Below the nest, on the ground, a large male baboon picks through the dirt with the unhurried confidence of an animal that rarely faces real consequences. He's hungry, he's scanning, and then, faintly high and thin, carried on the dry air, he hears it. The chicks, calling for their mother. He goes still, looks up, finds the nest. The thorns on the acacia trunk are brutal, dense, sharp, long enough to draw real blood. He doesn't slow down. He climbs with leathery hands and muscular arms, hauling himself upward as though the thorns are barely an inconvenience, because for him, they aren't. At the rim of the nest, his face appears. The chicks do the only thing they can. They hiss. They scream. They peck at him with beaks that simply aren't built for this kind of confrontation. It is brave in the way that all hopeless resistance is brave. Genuinely, heartbreakingly brave, and it changes absolutely nothing. The baboon reaches in. What they do next is the kind of thing that shouldn't work but does. Faced with what's coming, the chicks leap from the nest, from that height, into open air. They fall, tumbling, wings flapping uselessly at their sides, and they hit the ground with the kind of impact that should end the story right there. It doesn't. They get up, dazed, covered in dust, legs shaking under them, but moving. The baboon hits the ground seconds later. He isn't finished. He comes down running, fast and focused, closing the distance between himself and two birds who can barely walk in a straight line. This is the moment the story could go wrong. She's on her way back. The hunt is done. The morning has gone well. She's walking home with the easy stride of a bird who has nothing left to prove today. Then she hears them. Their calls cut across the open grass, a sound no animal that has raised young ever has to be taught to recognize. Distress, immediate, real. She runs. The chicks spot her silhouette and race toward it with every ounce of coordination their unsteady legs can manage. Behind them, the baboon is closing in. This is a race the chicks are losing. She gets there first. She plants herself between them, wings thrown wide, body lower, eyes locked on the baboon with an expression that communicates, with complete clarity, that whatever he was expecting to happen next is not going to happen. He charges anyway. He has the size advantage. He has the reach advantage. He has the fangs. Against a bird who might otherwise flee, that combination almost always works. She is not that bird. She kicks him. Those same legs, the ones that broke the python, drive into his chest, his arms, his face. Not once. Again and again, in a sustained flurry that lands faster than he can block. She uses her wings to control her balance, hopping backward, forward, sideways, striking from angles that make grabbing her nearly impossible. Every time he lunges, she's already moved. Every time he reaches, her foot has already answered. The dust rises, the noise is tremendous, and across the seconds that follow, something in the baboon's behavior shifts. The aggression starts to hollow out. The charges become shorter, the pauses between them grow longer. He's been hit too many times, by something too fast, something that isn't afraid. He breaks. He turns and goes, and she follows him just far enough to make sure he understands the boundary. When she turns back, her chicks are there, alive, dusty, making small sounds in the settling air. They can't go back up to the nest. The height is beyond them, and it will be weeks before flight is anything more than a distant possibility. They are grounded now, in open country, surrounded by a savanna that has already shown today what it's capable of. But the ground is where she is at her best. She moves with them through the late afternoon light. This small and unlikely family, two chicks who survived what they shouldn't have, and one mother who made sure of it. The vast savanna opens up ahead of them, and they walk into it together. She has already stomped a python to death today. She has already driven off a baboon twice her size. Whatever comes next, she is ready for it. She always is. If you made it to the end of this one, you already know what Fauna is about. Subscribe, drop a comment telling us which animal you want us to cover next, and we will see you in the next story.